Good morning. This is the OWASP board meeting. A very warm welcome on June 27th in Anglia Ruskin University. We will have a board meeting today in two parts, one in the morning of British Standard Time and one in the afternoon in British Standard Time. We published an agenda which you can find on the links attached to this broadcast. Currently with me present are Gemenico and Fabio. Actually, I'm not sure how to pronounce your Cirillo. And at this moment, we do not have a quorum, so we will not do voting, though further board members will join us later. And yeah, with that, I think we just jump in medias res into the agenda. Yeah, did I miss anything? No. Good. If you have any questions, please on the, well, actually to the Hangout, or send them to the board list. Okay, so our agenda for today is in the morning review budget versus actual expenditures. Let me see. Can you see my screen?
Which document are you live on right now?
I'm now on to the Foundation Financial Report. But you should actually be able to see my screen. Or maybe you're not.
So if I can, I like to live look at the same document.
You have the same live. So this is the May 2014 Foundation Financial Report / board.
Is that linked up to our...
That was sent by Sarah. I'm not sure.
The May 2014 financials?
Yeah, she sent it. Yes.
Excellent.
Good. I think the especially interesting bit is at the end of this table, where you basically have year-to-date projections, year-to-date actuals, and deviations from it.
So we see total expenses at 1,925,307.33. The total income is $1,924,701, and our net is $606.33. Very reasonable.
Yes. Yeah. So this is our expenses, income. It would be balanced. Yes. So. Obviously, it will make sense to go into this again in the afternoon, just because Sarah is then present, and it may be difficult to. Yeah. But what we can do is kind of collect questions that we will have later.
The key thing we want to state is that our financials are open and transparent. If you go to the June 27th OWASP board meeting page, in fact, if you just start by going, if you're lost, just go to Google. Or your favorite search engine, just say OWASP board. That will take you to the main OWASP board page, and then look at the agenda for 2014 as your next click, and you'll see the list of our board meetings for 2014. At least our major board meetings. I'm clicking on the June 27th meeting for today, and this is today's agenda. If you just scroll down, when we get our executive director. We get Sarah to participate with later in the day. You'll see under that section, financial update. She'll walk us through the May 2004 financials, and everything you need there is nice and open as a public document. We're going to review this in detail later on in the day, again, when Sarah and Josh join us for the evening meetings.
Yes. Okay. So, I think interesting is maybe to take a look that we seem to have lesser membership fees and lesser corporate fees. So we seem not to be up to plan with that. And I also noticed we had a drop in about 5% membership.
So we had a 5% drop in membership paid subscriptions, and a decrease in corporate sponsorship as well.
Yeah, well, actually on this chart it's even higher. The drop, but we did look at the membership numbers just before this conference. It was 2002 compared to 2,150 which we had at Absec APAC.
I'm now sharing out your screen. Can you point that out to us, please?
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, the membership, the individual membership is, can you see that?
Oh, excellent. Oh, so we're looking at a 40% drop in individual membership.
Yeah, that's money coming in from there. But the actual numbers of memberships have declined by 7%.
Now that's not a good thing. You know, I've had multiple members and even business people say, you know, what's the benefit of me becoming a member? There's nothing you really, quote unquote, get out of it, with the exception of the right to vote. So I think as a community, we should try to figure out a way. How can we make membership a valuable in some way? I know, like for other nonprofits, when I go become a member, I know it's kind of trite, but when I become a member of my local radio station, which is another nonprofit, there's all kinds of gifts that we are given for doing such a thing. We have members of the community of our radio station donate gifts, and when you become a member, those donated gifts go to members who sign up at different tiers of membership. This is a real popular public radio membership model.
Right.
But for us to ask, please become a member, and we're really not going to give you anything. That's something that does concern me.
Well, they get discounts to the conferences.
Yeah, you get basically your membership amount a discount to an Absec conference.
Yeah.
And, you know, it would be nice if there was something even more of value. So I can see one of two ways to go about it. I can see that we want to either have some kind of gift attached to that, not a coupon for a future purchase, but some direct gift. Hey, here's an OWASP T-shirt, something.
Yeah.
Or
like a welcome pack that at some point we used to do that.
Even if the cost of that welcome pack is close to the cost of membership, I still think it's a good thing, because we get more people in the voting community, and hopefully we can get more people who care in the voting community. We have better voting decisions for the organization.
Yeah.
The other way I can see it happen is where we take any conference, our European and U.S. conference,
yes,
and we increase the cost of both of those by $50 US, and have membership automatically included because you join the conference.
We already do that. You basically get a discount if you are a member of exactly that amount.
No, my suggestion is when you register for a conference, if you're not already a member, just by joining one of our national conferences, you become a member. We add $50 to the cost of the conference.
Implicitly, that's what we're already doing.
Oh, really? So
yes, just the other way around. But effectively, it's the same.
So if I'm some new guy and I attend like Absec Denver, I'm automatically a member of the foundation now.
No, what it does, it asks you, do you want to pay the full price, or do you want to be a member, or do you want to pay the full price and be a member? Effectively, that's your choice.
Yeah.
So you have the choice. The price is the same.
The price is the same.
You have the choice. Do you want to just join, or do you want to join and be a member?
What is it? Does it default to something, or?
That I don't know. But I know
we're already doing
model.
that.
Yes, that's our current model. So basically, you're very highly inclined to become a member, because there's no downside.
At some point, I look at this at the local level in Ireland, and like I touch base with training companies or editorials.
Show us your beautiful face here. There we go.
Yeah. So I was involved in the leadership of the Irish chapter. I look at ways to help out members, say getting discounts for books at the local bookstores, technical books, or discounts for training, or trying to get that added value you're talking about. It would be great if we could get something like that, but at the global scale. So, for example, an agreement with the likes of Amazon or something like that, that you get a benefit out of becoming a member. I'm totally with you on that. Like, I think we need to add more value to the members.
As a small hint, we now have agreements with several other partner organizations who basically offer us something in the range of a 10% discount to members for their events.
Yeah.
So, but I think we don't promote that benefit so much so far.
Yeah.
And also, is membership a significant part of our revenue?
Yeah, let's go back to the sheet.
Let's go back to the spreadsheet.
Well, we take in membership planned revenue is 137 out of 2 million, so about 7%.
$137,000 is membership fees?
Yes.
Wow, that is pretty significant.
Yeah, it makes a difference. Definitely.
That's corporate membership plus.
No, no. Corporate
individual.
membership is actually huge. Corporate membership is about 570,000 that we budgeted for it.
Wow.
Yeah.
So total memberships, I think, is about 1/3 of our organizational budget. In this case, 700,000. So actually a little bit over 1/3, 40%.
Our OWASP Paris chapter lead, Ludovic Petit, has complained reasonably so many times that, look, I'm really trying to help get corporate memberships out here, but again, there's very little necessary value to a corporation to sponsor OWASP from his perspective. He was like, can we give them something like have one of the senior speakers provide a 2-hour update, or even have someone who's local come give them an introduction to OWASP, or be a little bit more clear in what the tangible benefits are.
Yeah.
And I think that as we did the new model for corporate as we changed the new model for corporate sponsorship tiers, take a look at that if you wouldn't mind. Go to this OWASP corporate membership and take a look at the 3 different tiers of sponsorship that we now offer corporations.
Let me see where I had it somewhere. Sorry, I'm trying to find the right page.
No problem.
Do you stream me already?
Yeah, you're being streamed. I can do it. I'm going to switch over to myself here. Hello, everyone. And I'm going to Inception style share out my screen. Let's go to the desktop there. No, I'm just going to share out my.
Oh, perfect.
I'm going to share out my browser here.
I want to note while you do that, the are quite stable. So yeah, we had a drop. I think we lost 4, but that might also be. I'm not sure. That might also be just fluctuation, normal volatility of people just not signing up immediately again.
It takes a month or 2.
Yeah, it may be some delay in that. Oh, actually, I have the 3 layers.
We have corporate membership. We have elite, premier, and contributor.
Yes.
And so for elite, we do things like provide an advertisement, 20% off additional advertisement, press and media, a joint OWASP press release. This is very similar to what the Apache Foundation is doing, and I think this is very reasonable. It's just that we don't talk about it very much. It happens organically behind the scenes. I wonder if we can rally our community more to help with corporate memberships, or have some kind of finder's fee or something if someone helps bring us a corporate membership.
I'm trying to find whether we actually already have a status about. I think we already received a status how many we've sold so far.
Gotcha.
I'm trying to find that.
But for anyone watching, anyone who's watching this recording, one of the key ways you can help the foundation financially is help bring us corporate membership.
True.
And if you have a lead per se, a company that you think may want to sponsor OWASP, by all means contact the board, and we'd be happy to go and give some, not just the board, but any leadership, any member of the leadership community of OWASP, we would be more than happy to give a private talk and explain what OWASP is, and try to participate in the process of discussing, the value of corporate membership. The main staff member who drives this is Kelly Santa Lucia. She's also the main person to contact if you have any questions. But
actually, could you share back to my screen?
But by all means, please reach out to us if you're having problems convincing someone to be a corporate member. We'd be glad to help support that in some way. You're back. You're live.
Can you see? I'm live, but why you can't? Do you currently see the executive director's report?
I sure do, and I see that you're pointing at membership level.
Yes. So we had as a goal 2 elite, which we have not sold yet, but we just started. Well, we are halfway into the year.
But I'm glad to see 4 companies jump in as premium corporate sponsors. So that did work for us. Excellent.
Yes.
Well, to a certain extent, but like there are 6 that they never sign up for.
But we still have an extra $60,000 in revenue to the foundation because we did break up those tiers. So that was all I wanted when I suggested that originally. I'm one of the folks who drove having 3 different tiers of membership.
Right.
It takes very little, corporate membership above the basic supporting level to make the effort worth it. So we probably spent like 2 hours talking about it and maybe like 5 or 6 hours, working on the wiki. And look, we made an extra 60,000. So anything that we can do as board, staff, and leadership member of the community to help encourage more elite and premium corporate memberships, I think any of us, based on the region, would be glad to jump in and help that quote-unquote sales process in some way.
I agree. It's useful. I mean, that's why we agreed to make it. Just one small comment. We are actually not net positive by 20K for each of them because they receive sponsorship package for Absecs included.
All right, there is a cost.
Which we are actually no longer having on income for the Absec conference.
So what is the cost to support our premium level sponsors?
Well, you just have to look at what they get, which I show on this page. And if you look at premium level, they get additional optional allowance of 4,000 for conference sponsorship. So basically, out of these 20,000, that means 4,000 go out because that's what they can deduct. Also, they get a discount on advertising, and let me see what else.
Gotcha. So there is
there is a certain
Gotcha.
There's a certain.
While on this topic, there's another big concern about how we approach corporate sponsorship that I've gotten from. That specifically Microsoft has complained about, which I think is really fair. We think of the number of people who's contacted Microsoft in a variety of different angles for sponsorship. One of Microsoft's lead contacts has said he has been contacted asking to sponsor different OWASP activities by like 10 different people in 10 different angles. So the coordination of how we contact our biggest potential sponsors is not good right now, I don't think. And I'm not pointing the finger at anyone. This is not an easy task, but I wonder if there's a way to, and this is basically sales, I wonder if there's a way to put a little more formality behind how we approach corporate sponsorship. Lead tracking, get other people involved, commit, a different kind of commission structure. I'm not sure what that looks like, but I'd love to talk about that more when we have more of a quorum.
Yeah, I think coordination makes sense, but obviously you always have the challenge that chapters will go out individually, and I mean we want them to go out like ninjas, and but that's of course then. So if you're a chapter, it would be good to coordinate with Kelly because she is running that.
Sure, yeah, exactly.
So it might be good to talk with her first.
I think that's the key thing for everyone. Anybody who wants to help support us, specifically with corporate membership, to be in sync with Kelly and coordinate through her how we approach these companies and ask. Because when we want to get premium level sponsors to write $50,000 checks to us, we really have to be a little more professional in how we make that approach. I'm not critiquing you, Kelly. Kelly, you're awesome. It's the community who's going after them in a lot of different angles.
Yeah, but I think like everything, like when you mean about the corporate level, the elite and the premium, or the big packages, they should be coordinated by Kelly or someone of staff, because as you said, like Microsoft complained that 10 different people approached them asking for money. I think that the same people should approach Kelly saying, Kelly, I have this point of contact, could you please touch base with that person? And Kelly becoming kind of the channel, the official channel to try to get those sponsorships.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I think it might be useful to coordinate.
Like every time, for example, for the LATAM tour, every time a company approached me saying, "Oh, we are looking into sponsoring the LATAM tour, etc." I said, "Listen, please, this is Kelly, contact her." And that's it. It's kind of, I'm doing the handover to her, and she engaged with the company.
And Kelly is also responsible for doing sponsorship at conferences as well.
Yeah.
And you know, when I see traditional sales staff, you usually break it up into two categories. You have inside sales and outside sales. You have someone who's generating leads, making phone calls, then you have someone who's following up on that.
Yeah.
So I wonder if we want to add more inside sales staff to help generate, who help do the lead generation to help Kelly, have more opportunities. Because right now, when it comes to selling our sponsorships, it is a sales process. Kelly's a lot of ways by herself. So maybe we should talk to her and see what more support she needs.
Yeah.
But
well, I think it's fair to ask her if she needs more help.
Yes.
Then
let's go. Let's add this in action then. Let's go.
Yeah.
Let's ask her through Michael, what she needs to help with the process. She brought me into the Microsoft conversation, and Microsoft made it really clear they do not want to sponsor other secondary things in OWASP, but they are happy to do very large sponsorships at our conferences if we get our act together a little bit more. They're asking for simple things. They want statistics on attendees and what kind of attendees we have, relatively basic statistics on conference data. We've given them that. I'm not sure what more we can do to help facilitate that. But again, Microsoft made it clear. This is just an example of one potential high-level sponsor. They want conference sponsorships and not corporate sponsorships.
Yeah, as you said, there is one part of it that it's actually engaging with the actual, the supporters or the sponsors or potential sponsors, and the other one is gathering all that data that they're asking for, And at the moment, it's just one person doing everything. Maybe we need, a helping hand there.
Gotcha. Okay.
Okay. Good. So let's jump back into the balance sheet. I mean, that was a little excursion. So from can you see my screen? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So we covered the memberships. Local chapter support, local meeting support. Okay, we start from a very low number, so that's probably why we are so much bigger. Actually, we might wanna ask Sarah later what is included in this bucket, but it's only 18,000, so it's not quite clear how we over-delivered by 7,000%. Jumping across donations, I think that's reasonably good, and we're very happy about $12,000 being donated. Jumping on to the Absec conferences that we are seeing. I don't think that what we currently see is that from Absec USA? No.
I believe, is that from Absec? That's from Absec USA, New York City, I believe. We had a very, very strong profit margin for that conference.
Let's see what. So the actual.
12%.
Yeah, it's more. The revenue should be based on this year because Absec USA New York City was last year. So that's why I'm a little bit confused how we can have that. Actual income. No. Actual income is actually 32,000 so far. So that might be signups.
Oh, I see. Unless we can ask Sarah for clarification when she jumps in later.
Yeah. Sure. Strange. Yeah. That might be corporate sponsorships and signups. So yeah, that's fine. So basically, we are a little bit ahead of plan for the projections. And yeah, I think now it makes sense. Absec Europe is currently what we're currently doing. So the current projections are negative, but I'm not sure when
this snapshot was taken.
Yeah.
I think all that could be clarified by Sarah later on.
I mean, the last one is from May, so probably this did not include last week's changes, and we had unfortunately very late pickup of the signups.
Yeah.
So we can brace ourselves. The project goal was still to make a profit here. Absec APAC was actually amazingly positive for us. I think it was a very good conference for Asia Pacific. past Asia Pacific conferences were not so profitable, but this one was really good.
And for lack of a better word, the spirit at that conference
was amazing.
Was just so exceptional.
This was mind-blowing. This was really very, very well done. On a note, actually, the ticket prices at Absec APEC are lower traditionally, quite significantly. And
yet still we did well.
Yes, it may be an interesting question, where is the optimal price point for our conferences at some point? But that is something I will leave to the chapter teams deciding that. Good. So LATAM tour. We didn't make as much money, but we still have a projected income.
There is a profit.
Yeah, there was a net profit.
Yeah.
So actually what we're currently looking at on the sheet is only the revenue generated, but obviously income is revenue generated minus expenses. So if the expenses are lower, then there's still money left for us.
How did the LATAM tour go in general?
Yes.
Went very well.
How many OWASP? How many people were on the tour with you?
This is the third year running, so like gradually increase in terms of visibility. This year we had 8 stops. Laura and myself, we split the amount of stops. Some of the chapters, they had like 100 people. On average, it was like between 80 and 100 people.
Oh wow, that's impressive.
Yeah. Then there was a big surprise with Guayaquil. That still there is no chapter there, but they organized a kind of a joint event with Quito. That they have a chapter in Quito, and out of a sudden, like they got 275 people.
Oh wow!
As a first meeting, which was phenomenal.
Look, those kinds of tours in my mind are really directly in line with the mission. I love to see more of those kinds of tours throughout the foundation. Like I know you were talking about, Tobias, you'd like to see a little more aggressive Asian tour sometime in 2015.
I see,
I'm a very, very big fan of supporting that.
I see there's a great opportunity to copy what we did in LATAM, also in Asia, because the structure of the chapter seems to be a little bit similar.
Yeah.
So there's, in my view, a huge potential for that. And my potential aim is actually even to have one by the end of this year for Asia, if we can find sufficient budget for it, which will be a question for Sarah Signal. There is still some funding available, it's just not earmarked for an Asia tour. It would be part of some other parts. But we can talk. Yeah, I definitely want to emulate and copy what we did in LATAM for Asia, if we can.
I could help, no problem.
And the more we do this in regions that are less likely to get that support, the better. Like frankly, like doing an African tour would be great. And it's nothing. That is not something that's easy to set up and do well.
Yeah.
But those kinds of efforts, like to do a AppSec tour throughout like major cities in the United States. I'm not so much a big fan of supporting that, but doing that throughout Africa or impoverished regions of the world, I am a big fan of doing that, especially supporting different governments that can barely, handle their own security staff. So being able to support those regions is what I think is the whole purpose of having a charity.
I fully agree, and I can see, honestly, OWASP in USA is already very strong. So people come to the chapter meetings, you have a lot of energy, you have great key speakers there, so it is much easier to just keep stuff running, while in Latin America and in Asia, there's not so many great speakers for each chapter. So to have that tour gives them the chance to actually move some speakers across the region and kind of connect.
And one important aspect of the tour is the fact that, like for example, in the US, you travel around quite often. It's kind of for you to go to New York or go to Miami or whatever. It's part of your routine. Whereas I'm talking in general, like in in the United States, people travel. Like in Latin America, that traveling doesn't happen much, and the leaders, the project or chapter leaders, they don't see face to face that often. So the LATAM tour, and what I try to promote through the LATAM tour, is that they actually, this cross-traveling. So the chapter leader in Peru visiting the chapter in Chile, and vice versa.
That's
so
great.
You create a community across the region.
Gotcha. I know that. I'm forgive me for hopping topics from finances to this kind of strategy.
It's a good way to go through the sheet.
Some of the problems we've seen in Southeast Asia is that same kind of thing where many of the chapter leaders there feel paralyzed. They're not sure what they should be doing.
Yeah.
Like what am I allowed to do?
Yep.
And because of that, we have diminished participation. So having like Southeast Asian kind of tour and giving talks throughout that region. First of all, for speakers, it's a incredible experience for those who are going to be in that choo-choo train. But it's going to be much deeper in serving the mission because, like you were saying, the speakers in that region are this is an emerging topic in the region, and it will help bring more community there.
Yeah.
Like, this is what OWASP is all about.
Yep.
Yes, I think so.
So I would really like to support that. One of my fears of OWASP is I see it becoming more and more a conference circuit. And if that's all we are is just a couple of conferences, then we have radically failed in what the mission is about. So these tours where we're bringing this material to regions where it's not as easy to get this material, I think is really fundamental to our well-being.
I think these tours are also very beneficial for building up the local chapters there.
Yes.
Kind of you inject a lot of energy. And to go back to your idea about Africa for maybe 2015, 2016, if you could combine this maybe with Middle East, you could actually have sufficient critical mass.
I think it's a great idea.
We have a couple of chapters in Africa, and we have a couple of chapters in the Middle East.
It's very vibrant chapters in the Middle East, actually.
There is activity, but they are not extremely big.
Gotcha.
And I've visited some, and I've talked with some of the chapter leaders. So, but they could benefit from a local North Africa or Africa and Middle East tour.
Definitely.
So. Yeah. Okay, so LATAM went well. Yep. Exceptionally good. And we made a profit. So that's of course that kind of all good. Okay, local and regional events. Our budget was 50,000, and we made. Okay, we are over delivering on what we are making for regional events. I'm actually not quite sure where we get money from that, but maybe I think we have to ask.
Think of like the smaller events that are not part of the national conference circuit. There's still conferences, they're just small, and we make profit from them.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that might be something like LASCON.
Like think like OWASP German Day, right? Or OWASP Germany Day was has always been mammothly profitable, as expected. So.
Yes. Okay, good. Other revenue incomes. So we have advertising and merchandise revenue, which is targeted for 30,000, and we are way below that. So projection for year to date would be 5,000, and we actually have about 1,000. But I think we spend a lot of time on selling merchandise, and I think that's not really helping. So I don't mind if we are under our expectations in that case.
And also, I think the focus we put on that is not necessary. Like, I know we've sent staff in the past to run the merchandising booth, and it just becomes a direct loss. And I think we should be a bit more careful about that, because I don't think we sell a lot of merchandise at these various conferences. People get inundated with, cheap swag T-shirts and little hats, and that's not what our community really cares about. So in my mind, merchandising is something to, maybe even defocus on rather than put more effort into, or at least switch the merchandising so it's more in line with our community. Like things that I want to buy when I go to a conference. So like I bought recently, a USB firewall. So if I'm like stuck and I really need USB power, I have this little USB firewall that I can plug in that will shut off the communications channel, but still give me power to my device. So I can little
like
things,
geeky or techie stuff.
yeah, techie, geeky stuff like that. That's what our community likes, in my very humble opinion. And like a OWASP branded baseball cap, who cares about that stuff? So maybe we should really rethink what our merchandising is. And I know a couple partners that we could partner with to help facilitate that, and that could actually give us two things: help us significantly increase income in that area, and be more in service to the community as well.
Okay.
That will require a bit more coordination and maybe even a bit more investment, but it's worth considering.
Yeah, I think as part of the ED report, Sarah mentioned something about Genevieve trying to set up an online store. I don't know all the details about that, but maybe including those, gadgets you're talking about as part of the online store. Yeah. Cool.
I mean, I can definitely see that we still want to sell OWASP books, want to sell OWASP card game like Copia.
Yeah.
I mean, these are things that people like to have.
Yeah.
And I also believe we keep the T-shirts. It's kind of I want everybody to be happy. Where I'm kind of a little bit careful is to spend like $1,000 on shipping costs, and then maybe make only $1,000, and in the end we're kind of making maybe a loss. So, or even have a staff member do the merchandise selling, while that could also be done by a volunteer potentially.
Exactly. I just think we want to be a bit more efficient in how we invest in this, and we may even want to change some of our strategies there. And I'm just throwing ideas out. This is not my decision. I ain't the boss here, but would love to talk to and GK has been to so many of these conferences. I think she's going to have a better idea of what sells and what doesn't.
Community wants, or
I'd love to like take an action item where we talk to her through Michael or whatever is the appropriate channel and get her take on this. I think she may know better than we do.
Yes.
Not may. It's very likely that she knows better than we do.
Yeah.
It's an action item. Ask GK what merchandise we should do and how.
I also want to note, Jim's note is technical gadgets, which are more expensive, have a bigger price, better potential for profit.
Yeah. And was that gadget store? Or
I'm sorry.
What's that? The gadget store? Or what you were saying there?
Like things like I was at Hack Miami recently.
Oh yeah.
And they had a little merchandising area in the corner.
Uh-huh.
And they were selling things like USB firewalls, lockpick kits, all these little. And that guy like sold out of his merchandise.
Yes.
Like well over like 10 to 15 grand worth of merchandise for a tiny conference.
Yeah.
Because that's what the community wants.
Exactly. I think those gadgets, the geeky gadgets, are the ones that probably the community would love to get.
Actually, there's one more geeky gadget that I recently saw, and that one of our...
Is that the firewall? Yeah.
It turns off the comm channel and only gives me the power channel.
Right. Right. It's good. Cool. Small, easy to ship.
Exactly.
Yeah.
High profit margin for the foundation, and it's what our community likes.
Yeah.
And again, I wonder if we're discussing something that's too trite here, or it's too small of an issue, but something we can a little tiny improvement we can make that we can talk to GK about to see if she's down.
Yeah.
And if we do want to do that, there are plenty of different vendors we can partner with to assist with this in some way.
Yeah.
I do a call.
This crowd, 5 as well.
There's like 4 or 5 companies that specialize in this kind of stuff.
Yes.
Yeah. We can have a call for proposal in that area.
Yeah.
Actually, one of the sponsors at Absec EU also had a very cool gift.
Oh, that's awesome.
Which is this webcam slide where you can actually hide your webcam camera instead of putting some tape on it. You can open and close it.
Yeah.
And I mean, in material cost, this must be extremely cheap.
Yeah.
And so that might be another option.
Very cool.
Okay, but now we're going, I think, too much in detail. But let's think about tech gadgets. Whether there's something that might be fun.
Let's pop that stack. Let's get back up. Let's go up a bit here.
Good. So I'm going back to the balance sheet. Okay. So, but on overall, I would say I don't mind that we don't earn a lot of money from merchandising, because I think there is just a lot of effort for our staff, and if we have a decline there, I'd rather have them chase one more sponsor than.
Yeah, and even the profit goal is low. You know, it's
Right.
kind of.
Well, the profit goal for the whole year was 30,000, so it's not neglectable.
Okay.
And my concern is if we look deeper at those numbers that we're spending thousands and thousands on it, and actually it's much more of a significant loss than the spreadsheet alludes to. Is my instinct here.
Yeah. If you assign value to the time people spend on it, it might be
Exactly.
Good.
All right. We can let's
Moving on.
Let's move on. Let's go back.
Interest in investments, I think that we can ignore. That's basically close to zero anyway. Grants and sponsorship programs. We had a goal for 50,000 grants. Year to date, we have projections. We got one grant in April, which I don't know where it came from. So we are a little bit below that, but I think there's a huge volatility in that number anyway. So if we get a grant, we're lucky. And
well, but in terms of the grants,
yep,
someone actually need to draft and send these papers, and it's not an easy process.
No.
SIBA was involved last year.
Seba.
Yes, was involved last year. He applied. I think he worked out with our project manager in terms of how to submit this, and it's kind of heavy workload.
And the challenge of grants is that you need some of the foundation leadership to help with understanding the capability of the foundation as we're writing the grants. And those people are usually the people who are least able to write a grant.
Yeah.
And we need a grant writer who understands the process of grant writing, but they need to interact with leadership or members of the community to understand what we're capable of really doing. So I like the idea of bringing in at least a part-time grant writer who is chasing down appropriate grants for us close to full-time.
Mm-hmm.
You could do grant writers and give them a part of their either do it where their fee is in the grant itself and we pay them upon success.
Yeah.
We can have one on staff, but having more of a full-time grant writer where it's not the responsibility of staff to do that currently, I think that'd be a powerful thing.
Okay, and you're thinking of, say, part-time staff or
either I don't know. It could be a consultant. It could be someone who only gets paid upon the grant being awarded. There are a lot of different ways to bring in professional grant writers.
Okay.
But I think, and that's part of our role as a board is fundraising. That's supposed to be one of our main roles. I'm not sure how great a job we do at that. I'll speak for myself. I'm not sure how great of a job I do that. So I'd love to be able to work with the grant writer more.
Okay.
It's more in line with our responsibility as a board member. And it's directly helping the foundation.
Yeah, maybe identify a few grants that we want to apply and get someone to help us out writing those proposals.
I think that would be a great help to the foundation.
Yeah. So, Tobias, we were talking about having a resource available, a part-time resource or a consultant to help us out with, grants writing. So we could identify, say, during the year, we could identify a few grants that we want to apply, and we work, the foundation works together with this resource, and we apply to those grants. So that would be kind of the action.
Please forgive me that I just left the room. It's just someone from the conference attendees just called me for Absec EU, and there's some kind of problem. So
Is everything okay?
No big problem, but there's an event and they don't find where to go, so I just had to step out for a second.
No problem. No problem.
Phone number.
That's fine. There's plenty of noise. Do you want to close that? Yeah.
Just have to find. Am I still sharing the screen?
I'll go back to you now. I don't see you.
No, I hope I'm not sharing. I'm just testing.
I see you're blacked out right now.
Okay, that's good. Because I didn't want to share all my emails.
I'm going to go back to sharing as well. I'm going to share my Inception share. Hang on here.
Inception.
Where am I going? OWASP board.
Let's try this. I'm very sorry for that. Just trying to.
No problem. I just want to add a few notes.
Yes, please.
Merchandising under budget. I'm going to say, you know, there we go. Well, for those who are watching the recording, can you feel the excitement in the air? Yeah. Oh, yeah. All right, we're just waiting for Tobias, folks. It's been about an hour. We're gonna take a brief break. We're gonna keep the recording going. However, is there a way I can pause the broadcast? Yep, I'm gonna stop the broadcast. We're gonna be back in just a few minutes. Thanks, everyone.